Burkina Faso is making headlines in Africa, not for the usual tales of despair, but for a story that's nothing short of revolutionary. In a continent where leaders are often more concerned with luxury cars and personal wealth than the welfare of their people, one man is turning the tide. Captain Ibrahim Taoure, the president of Burkina Faso, is leading a charge that's as unexpected as it is inspiring. Instead of splurging on extravagant vehicles or padding his bank accounts, Taoure is investing in something far more meaningful: the future of his country. Today we find ourselves in Burkina Faso, witnessing a development that is as unprecedented as it is inspiring. This is not the kind of story that typically comes out of Africa, where leadership often means self-indulgence and corruption. But here, in Burkina Faso, something remarkable is happening. It's the kind of change that makes you stop and take notice, a shift so profound that it could serve as a blueprint for the entire continent. This development in Burkina Faso has filled me with a sense of pride and hope that I've rarely felt for any African leader. For the first time, I am genuinely thrilled by the actions of a president in Africa, and that president is none other than Captain Ibrahim Taoure. What Captain Taoure has accomplished in such a short period is nothing short of unbelievable. For those of you who may not be familiar with this story, Ibrahim Taoure took the reins of Burkina Faso less than 3 years ago. Since then, he has won the hearts of not only the people of Burkina Faso, but also many across Africa. However, the admiration he has garnered hasn't gone to his head. Instead, it has fueled his commitment to his goals that are centered on development, employment, and agriculture in Burkina Faso. What you're witnessing here is not just a parade of empty promises or a showcase of personal wealth. It's a tangible, visible transformation. 400 tractors, 239 tillers, and countless motor pumps dedicated to irrigation. For those unfamiliar, a tiller is a type of small tractor that can be operated manually, much like a wheelbarrow, but with the power to transform fields and improve agricultural productivity. This equipment is not just for show. It's a critical part of Captain Taoure's strategy to revolutionize farming in Burkina Faso. Now you might wonder where the money for all this came from. After all, Captain Taoure could have easily followed the well-trodden path of many African leaders by splurging on luxury vehicles. But instead, he chose a different route. Taoure still drives a 2001 Land Rover Defender, a vehicle valued at around $122,000. Despite its age, he does not see the need to replace it with a newer, flashier model. Rather than indulging in personal luxuries, Taoure decided to invest in the people of Burkina Faso, channeling funds into agriculture, a sector that can create jobs and feed the nation. This marks a historic moment in Africa, where a president has consciously decided to prioritize farming over personal comfort. In a continent where leaders often rush to upgrade their cars the moment they assume office, this act of humility and foresight is both rare and commendable. It's no wonder that Taoure's actions have resonated so deeply with the people. He understands that Africa's poverty is rooted in the neglect of agriculture. Too often, as soon as a leader takes office, their first move is to purchase the most expensive SUV available, sometimes spending up to $200,000 on a single vehicle. Others, less transparent, siphon money into foreign bank accounts or stash it away in their homes. But not Captain Taoure. He has refused to follow this path of self-indulgence. Instead, he has made a decisive move to reinvest in the very foundation of Burkina Faso's economy: agriculture. By directing funds toward farming equipment, Taoure is not just providing immediate relief. He's laying the groundwork for long-term prosperity. This is a strategy that other African leaders should take note of, for it offers a way out of the cycle of poverty that has plagued the continent for so long. The equipment you see before you: 400 tractors, 239 tillers, and 710 motor pumps, is part of a broader initiative to empower rural stakeholders and boost agricultural production across Burkina Faso. In addition, 714 motorcycles have been acquired for agricultural agents, ensuring they can efficiently support farmers across the country. The government's support doesn't stop at machinery. It extends to vital inputs as well. Farmers will receive 10,000 tons of fish feed, 68,964 tons of fertilizers, 10,000 liters of phytosanitary products, 18,000 tons of plant seeds, 2,300 tons of fodder seeds, and 10,000 tons of concentrated feed. All of this has been made possible with an investment of over 78 billion CFA francs, equivalent to $28 million. This massive investment in agricultural and pastoral equipment is not just about improving productivity. It's about transforming lives. It reflects the transitional government's commitment to supporting producers through the offensive agro-pastoral fisheries and the Presidential Initiative for Agricultural Production for 2023 to 2024. These initiatives are not mere slogans. They are concrete steps toward ensuring that Burkina Faso can feed its people, create jobs, and build a sustainable future. This is the kind of leadership Africa desperately needs. Too often, we see leaders who squander their nation's wealth on personal luxuries, buying fleets of expensive vehicles while their people starve. But not Captain Taoure. He has shown that it's possible to lead with integrity, to put the needs of the nation above personal gain. This is why I've always said that Africa's poverty is not inevitable. It's a result of choices made by those in power. And when we see a leader making the right choices, it deserves to be celebrated. Captain Ibrahim Taoure is a military man, and he could have easily chosen the path of least resistance by spending on personal luxuries. But instead, he has taken the road less traveled. We've all seen the stories of leaders like Ali Bongo in Gabon, who was caught with stacks of dollars hidden under his bed, or the many other presidents across Africa who own fleets of exotic cars while claiming their nations are suffering. These leaders are quick to complain about economic downturns, yet they do nothing to address the root causes. They spend millions on luxury vehicles, money that could have been used to build factories, create jobs, or invest in agriculture. In contrast, Captain Taoure's actions are a breath of fresh air. He has shown that it's possible to lead without succumbing to the temptations of power. He has demonstrated that the true measure of a leader is not the number of cars in their garage, but the impact they have on their people's lives. Burkina Faso's president is driving a vehicle that is over 20 years old, yet he is more focused on the future of his country than on his own comfort. This is the kind of leader we need. One who understands that real progress comes not from personal wealth, but from uplifting the nation as a whole. It's time for Africa to rethink its approach to leadership. The continent is rich in resources, yet poverty remains widespread because too many leaders are more interested in personal gain than in national development. The type of vehicle a leader drives should not be a status symbol. It should be a reflection of their priorities. When we see leaders driving exotic cars, it's a clear sign that their focus is on themselves, not on their people. Burkina Faso has vast tracts of fertile land, yet much of it remains unused because leaders have failed to invest in agriculture. Captain Taoure's approach is different. He has recognized the potential of the land and has taken concrete steps to harness it. By providing tractors, tillers, and other essential equipment, he is empowering farmers to increase production and improve their livelihoods. This is the kind of leadership that can transform Africa, one country at a time. In conclusion, Captain Ibrahim Taoure has set a new standard for leadership in Africa. He has shown that it's possible to lead with integrity, to put the needs of the people first, and to focus on long-term development rather than short-term gain. His actions in Burkina Faso are a model for the rest of the continent, a reminder that real progress comes from making the right choices. It fills me with hope to see a leader who is truly committed to the well-being of his people. And I believe that if more leaders followed his example, Africa would be on a path to prosperity. Thank you for watching, and remember, leadership is not about luxury, it's about legacy.